Today, we have a very interesting topic, brand transformation. It's all about converting how enterprises or business are moving from physical to the online. So we'll get onto it. Now, obviously, if you're watching this and if you're brand new to the show, feel free to just type down the comments as a new. Yeah, we'll love to have you in our future episodes. And if you're already watching this in the past episodes, welcome to the show. It's great to have you. And today, in the next 15-20 minutes, we're going to cover up some practical ideas and what's working, especially how the brands and how the businesses are implementing right now and what's working right now. I'll be sharing that insights or share some tips and ideas for you so you can implement it right now in your business, right? So before we move to this topic, just last night, I got a quick questions from LinkedIn from one of the prospects from Brisbane. Actually, he wrote me that, look, Praveen, I have been following you for a while now, but just curious to know what exactly services or how you are helping the businesses enterprise. We want to know more, and that's why I just thought probably just bring that questions because it's all about you and what exactly you want to hear about the feedback to help us to build your brand. Right. So let's get that questions and that might be relevant. So one of the things which we are helping for our clients and we are deep diving is almost a sort of, we are focusing on a 3 C's, which means the first C is all about communication, right? Because we're living in a very uncertain times for sure. So we got to communicate. We got to find out the new ways. We got to find out new ways to communicate with the prospects, new ways to communicate with your clients, or the new ways to communicate with your lapsed clients. So it's very important communication. Communication doesn't always mean sending an SMS or sending an email after email, which in a lot of CRM or automation experts, they say, look, send an email after email. I'm not a great fan of that. Sometimes communication also means about trust call, giving a quick call just to check how they are going, how the business is. Sometimes that values are much. So we got to find out or find balance there need to be in what communications we can use so that, people consume it, so people feel special. So it's very important, especially in this time. And it's all about serving them, not about selling. Communication, the primary purpose right now is helping them to navigate this crisis or uncertain situations. So that right now, obviously, communication. Second thing I want to really share about for what's working for a lot of our clients and for us is building community, which is been coming from last couple of years, but right now, especially after March, after especially this COVID, we see that the brand is standing out. Even other day, my 5-year son, he mentioned about, because we were teaching about sustainable products, we were teaching about all the right products which have a social cause, and just before this lockdown 4 in Melbourne, I was taking him to the clinic, and he was choosing there from the online just the right product, that the shampoos, and there were a number of shampoos, but he chose about the Thank You brand. And that's really fascinating how even the little ones, they choose the right products because they are not just fascinated with the name, but they are fascinated about the meaning or the value of the brand. So this is a perfect time for you to rethink about the value of your business, the rethink about your why you started your business, and really understanding that and amplifying that values in all your products, in all your things. It's very important at this point. So building community is a must go, and that's what we are doing right now. If you're watching this, all about building the community, all about adding a value to the audience, helping them to build their brand. Now, third piece, which we are focusing right now for our clients, is content. And I remember my mentor talking about, the content. At this point, the content need to be not just like in a sandwich you put butter and jam, but the whole idea is it need to be provocative or prolific, if you like. So the content really need to stand out. And in last masterclass, I was sharing about the content should need to be stand out. And the key word here is relevant. relevant content, because I see day in, day out for a lot of the business and enterprises, mid-size and small enterprises, is they're posting all the, pre-COVID stuff, all the blog writing, images, or even the videos pre-COVID. And no way people can relate it. So if you have a, if you're ideal client, you will know. I mean, when you look their social medias, or you see their emails, it's all about that relevant factor. If the relevancy is not there, it's what's the point of doing a content? And I sometimes I just share that better not to do it, or do it in a way that which people resonated. Otherwise, it's no point spending time in writing the content, no point writing the blogs or social medias or anything, if you like, because it needs to have a relevance. So relevance is a key. So I hope that give you a bit of idea, but obviously we can deep dive. And if you're watching this right now, I would love to hear about your feedback, how you're finding this in your business or your enterprise, and really bringing that across on the streaming, because all idea is, the great ideas, and we want to really deep dive to get your feedback. And now also on behind the scenes, we are also working on some setup so that we can bring live Q&As as well to you. So it's all about having that really authenticity, really having that feedback to help the communities. So that's a quick heads up to you. Now let's move to today's topic, which is all about the brand, all about what is working, and three parts actually. Let me share these three parts I will be sharing with you. One is obviously how you can leverage your digital way, because it's moving from online, everything from a physical to online. So I will be sharing about how can you leverage. Second topic, which is very relevant, is a practice, the trends, what's happening right now, so you can get the idea or taste of it. And third thing, about really some practical tools so you can implement in your business right now, even after this session. So about 15-20 minutes it will be, so feel relaxed. So if you're checking this from any of the devices, whether computer, laptop, or mobile, or any of them. So just feel relaxed, and we will deep dive. And I promise it won't be BS. It will be just straight to the point and exactly what's working right now for our clients and for all our communities. All right. So, this one, it's very interesting actually. I mean, if you look at pre-COVID, right? If you look at the pre-COVID, what exactly are we doing? We were doing. I mean, if you're business owners and entrepreneurs, you would know, early morning. I mean, I would do, early morning, you go, you would start the day, there's a big traffic. If you're living in, busy cities like Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, any busy cities, obviously before even you start, you have to half an hour, 45 minutes at least, you have to be in the car just thinking. And then after that, you go to either presentation, or that might be any course you are doing, or that might be boardroom presenting with your team, how the day look like. And then obviously you're meeting with the clients, making sure that that might be 10:30 when you get back to the office, meeting with the clients. And then obviously that won't end. So again, the other thing is then after 5:30, then again you have got a couple of things to do, to go to networking. And if you're like me, almost like a social butterfly, back in those days I used to go so many 3, 4, 5 lunches, 3, 4, 5 breakfasts, so so much things. And obviously now the things had changed. And at the end, when you finish that networking, by the time when you finished it, you go home, it's again the same traffic, 7:30, 8 o'clock, if you're lucky, or maybe after 8:39. And by the time when you get home, you know the feeling, right? So you would be almost there's no energy, and that's not a one day. Literally, that's pretty much 5 or 6 days continuous same routine, and that's where sometimes this obviously every crisis comes with opportunity. But sometimes when I talk with the entrepreneurs, the new ways they are looking is very different, because people are sick and tired having the same routine, because they don't really see anything different, doing the same thing again and again and expecting different results. Almost insanity. That's what Einstein says. So that was what happening before. And now just from from your home or from your office, or from your small studio or whatever you are doing. You can broadcast with the right audience, so you don't have to literally go around, round and round. And it's changed the whole dynamic. And not only that, right, from the videos which we are doing right now, obviously it all changed and it's changing. So the live streaming has become a very, very important, but it is almost an oxygen now for any marketing, especially the videos. And in videos, because speed is a key, and you can't wait the message to be out there for 3, 4, 5 days even, because everything is happening right now and people want information right now. So that's where live streaming comes in. Now, other thing it might be interesting, which I have find the challenges from a lot of entrepreneurs, just like you, is look, Prabin, all the collaterals, or we have spent so much money on the videos, we have spent so much money on these collaterals. So what do we do in pre-COVID? Look, simple answer is you can't really use it now. You got to have a really content with a relevancy, because at the moment, everything should need to be relevant. The way the messaging, the unique message goes out, and how you're helping your clients to navigate this crisis, and really are unique about you in this situation. So, and the challenge is obviously you got to produce the new, and that's where you need to have a prolific and provocative content. And an idea here is to really personalize that content, because personalize is a key, right? Because if you're sending any information just like that, it won't resonate. So idea here is to sending the right information to the right people in the right time, and that's a key. Now, other thing which might be interesting for you is marketing is not all about lead generation. Let me tell you again, marketing is not about lead generation. So marketing primary purpose is to brand building, 60% of the marketing, because a lot of the time also when we help our clients, or, especially new prospect, they want to get a results immediately in next week, 2 week, 3 week, even a month, or quickly. So that's fine. Don't get me wrong. That's okay. That's expectation. However, you need to build a brand. Otherwise you can't just reduce the cost, and more likely people want best services, best product on the lowest price. So the key here, the best marketing is a consistency. And that's where the consistency is a key. No matter what you do, you must need to have a clear 90 days plan. When you're doing video, what you're posting, how the message tone would look like, how you're helping client, what are the value, how you're adding the value to your clients. It's very, very essential. And people know exactly, and I'm one of them. I have always thought about doing the live show exactly like this, but never put it in the diary. Always thought, okay, I will do it. And I was doing that before, but there's no any consistency. Right now, obviously, every Thursday and Wednesday, I do for my clients, for us, and it's very clear in the calendar. That means all our community, or my clients' community, they expect, okay, so this day, this time, pretty much the new episodes will drop down. So that keeps the consistency, and that keeps the clarity in the message as well. So we are not randomly doing for the sake of doing, right? And to be honest, I got inspired by a lot of the episodes, including TED Talks, or that might be some of the exclusive videos on YouTube, or that might be recently I've been following London Real from Michael Rose. So that's fascinating, and it has helped to position the message, crafting the message, and sending the right message to the right audience. So that's all about leveraging the digital way in right now, how you can do it just sitting at home or sitting in your office. You don't have to travel around, whether if you're business leaders or sales leader, just from your comfort of your home, you can do a business. You can generate leads, you can generate more sales, you can generate more opportunities. So I hope that gives you a bit of idea. Now let's move to the second segment, right? Now the question is, how can you able to add value can you able to add right now? So number of ways, obviously we all are navigating this interesting time, and we have a social distancing. which also now I can see that social learning is in last 5-6 months now. It's a skyrocketing. Social distancing almost equals to social learning, and we see that the communities is tapping it. I've got a number of reports. I'm not sharing it now, but obviously going through all the reports of Accenture, going through a LinkedIn report. This is massive. The growth of the traffic is happening right now, and the learning, people are learning more than ever. So the key here is you can add a value when you understand what value means to them. Okay, so it's not about just doing for the sake of doing, but really understanding your audience. What value can you add? So, either that might be, through your emails, or through any of your events, or through any of your virtual events, or through any of recent tools, or the strategies we are implementing, and how you are helping the client. So it's all about dipping a little bit deeper, understanding what exactly they need right now to implement in the business, and that's where your clients will see it's moving the needle, and that's how you became as a trusted advisor, or if you like, a preferred provider. So I hope that gives you a bit of idea. Now let's move to a second segment. Now, if you're watching this, obviously, Maserati, look, it's one of my favorite car. Don't get me wrong, and when I talk with the day in, day out with the entrepreneurs or business owners is, Praveen, I have, 6 months, I have invested so much in these technology gadgets, so much on this video editing. I have hired 1, 2, 3 or extra virtual teams. I get that, right? I get that. If you're really having that, mid-sized business, enterprises, I get that you might be investing a fair bit of amount in marketing and communications. But the idea here is to, it's like, having this fantastic car and, it's just sitting in your garage. Or it might be, you might be only using, unleaded petrol rather than Power V. Or I don't know, you might be using cooking oil. I don't know. So, the idea here, it's not about the tool, right? It's all about, how you utilize that tool effectively in your business. And that's so important, because I see day in, especially in browsing in social media, people say, oh, I've just bought this gears, cost me a couple of grand, and I brought this, that's good. At least the mojo is there. You have an intention to do it. That's great. However, the key here is to make that very clear in your marketing and your communication, and use that tool effectively to generate business, to maintain your business. All right. Now, the other thing is, on that note, is personalize your message. So having the tools is there, but you can personalize your message. Now, one of the things which might be handy for you to know, especially if you're doing a virtual events, is, gone were those days when you're doing one-time event, like, whether people show off on the event, or if they don't show up, finished, you in just a couple of days prior, you put the events, and you just post some photos or advertisement in the Facebook and LinkedIn and all the rest, and finish the event, and you don't go about it. However, now in the new normal, what we have seen and what the results is coming up for our clients is all about 3 segments, right? Pre-event, so making sure that the event is, things are happening, the audience engagement, you are really advocating that pre-events, building the audience, and then you're doing the event. And after the event, that's where the magic happens. I mean, always the magic is on the follow-up. So post means obviously cutting the videos, or if you like, the post, helping the communities so that they can download those videos if they haven't attended. Because mind you, online events, people are so busy. Even right now, if you're watching this, you might be already distracted, right? In so many things. And I'm so thankful, at least you are now, but so many viewers, they are watching, or they are consuming when they like to consume. So the things are very, very changing now. And that's what we need to understand, that it is the message need to be personalized and relevant. Now, one thing also I need to share with you is with some of the clients for the, and I give you an example as a video, especially the live video. The reason is the sales cycle, no matter what sort of the industry, whether that may be B2B or, in medical, healthcare, or dentistry, or any industry, what we have been seeing in last especially last 90 days, the trend is the sales cycle, if you like, or a nurturing cycle is much slower. Right, so it's not that people, some of the industry or some of the services. If you talk about the safety services, yes, I understand, but not all the services. So the sales cycles is a little bit lagging behind, which means you have to, or you must need to add 2 or 3 steps more on that collaterals to get to have a nurture sequence well. So and that's very important, because you can't just go to your ideal avatar and say, hey, look, this is fantastic product right now. You can't do it. You need to have at least a couple of touch points, at least 6, 7, or more at least. So I hope that give you idea on generating for the new client personalized message. Now, other thing also for you, it would be valuable for you to know, which if you have missed the past episodes with Tristan White, so he runs a physio. There's more than 150 plus staffs, including contractors, and what he's doing, and that's what it fascinates me, is he's doing a live video every week and addressing to his team every day for 3-4 days, and adding value and understanding about the culture, maintaining that mojo. It is a key right now. So just the new ways to humanize everything, because you can't just send the emails after emails, or just a sort of a command. You need to communicate. You need to humanize your message, and that's where the relevancy or personalization factor comes in. All right, so I hope that's give you, I'm conscious with your time as well. And if you're watching this right now, again, feel free to just give a thumbs up or comment it. If you have any burning questions, I can cover up in past episodes, or even I can quickly check it right now. So let's move to our third segment. So now the questions also is, what are a couple of tips for you to get prepared, right? How can you get prepared? So a couple of ways. If you have a pen handy, you can write it down. First thing is content mapping. So whether that may be for your clients, you just need to have a very clear marketing plan, content mapping, we say, which means how you, where the contents are, what you're doing in 90 days, how you're helping your clients. All those need to be very clear. Not only that, but also it works within your business for your team, because, if you have a mid-sized business, the things are everywhere. So there is no any proper, and even just, other day, one of the companies in building an industry, they approached to us, asking about the, a sort of a system where they can have a, in a cloud, they can have a clear, so anyone can get the proper collaterals in a right time, very, very quickly. So it's all about content mapping, having that very clear strategy or content one page, which links to sales, marketing, business, finance, or anything accounting. So that need to be very clear. Or perhaps this might be a time for you to just do it and invest on it, on that right now. So again, online, so moving from physical to online. The other thing is a personalized idea. You might be just sending the emails after emails, or you might be just sitting in the LinkedIn and not doing anything. You may have 6,000-7,000 or more connection in LinkedIn and not doing anything. So perhaps it might be a time for you to just have an online Q&As, do some virtual session, whether that may be anything like in a Zoom or any system. It doesn't really matter, as long as you are communicating with your key stakeholders or with your key clients. And also on that note is a shorter, sharper. So we don't need too long. The short conversation is always good within your team or with your clients. Probably frequent conversation, but we don't need 2 hours or 3 hours, even 90 days, 90, sort of 3 hours, 90 minutes is quite a long. So you have to just chunk it up and sort 15, 20 minutes sort of presentation, which is working really, really well on advertisement, on posting, and those sort of things. Very short. If you are doing a sort of a webinar above just the posting, 2 to 3 minutes max. So I hope that's give you the idea, but all about, how can you able to blend your online and offline together? Because, frankly, it won't be same. The things will be changing, and it won't be going in a normal. It's a new normal, or someone was saying the other day, it's abnormal. So I don't know about that, but it's a new normal. The way how people consume the information, the way how they take the information, and how it would be meaningful. So it's something for you to think about. And also some in couple of emails or feedbacks I have received, what sort of the tools. I'm really not very picky on the tools. However, some of the tools which we have tested, the tools like if you're doing in-house, Zoom is pretty good. So for the online courses, yes, there are a number of platforms, but for us, key here is to make it very easy. So especially if people, if you're watching this and if you're not technical friendly, you just need technology which really work. So we have also found Thinkific, which is very, very easy. Anyone, if you're running e-course or any materials online, you can just upload it. Very, less than a couple of hours, everything will be plug and play. So it's very easy. Now, for any streaming services, I'm using Restream or that StreamYard. There are a number of other softwares as well. But the whole point is make that very easy. Now, also, I must need to address that is the YouTube. I mean, obviously you can post, you can do in LinkedIn, Facebook, all the social medias, no problem. However, what we have seen exponential growth is on the videos, especially in YouTube. So YouTube, the reason I say YouTube is because obviously it's a Google product. So anything you do in the YouTube that helps your buyers to find you very, very easily. So YouTube is YouTube graph, YouTube growth or YouTube ranking is coming up very well, especially now people are watching. So perhaps that you can consider your YouTube channel, or consider adding some videos, fine-tuning it again, not posting all the old content, fine-tuning it, making it relevant and making it personalized. So I hope that's give you a bit of idea. By the way, on that note, also next week on next episode, Thursday, my good friend and mentor Brad Tononi, many of you would know, sales. He runs amazing sales leadership course. So we are talking all about on a virtual servicing and how virtual servicing will look like. Because things are changed. The selling is, even the LinkedIn have just put the report, especially the pre-sales, 80% of the pre-sales will be just like this online. So it's for the business leader to rethink, how can we really, entertain or add value to our clients as well as prospect, and how can you be a point of difference than others? So that's something for you to think about. On Thursday, yes, 27th August, 1 p.m. You can just note on the calendar. By the way, if you're watching this from YouTube, you can just subscribe it, so you would be the first one to notify. And if you, again, just this would be a very much valuable session, and Brad is walk the talk, so I'm sure you would enjoy that. So I hope that give you really good insights and insights about. But if you want to know more, just follow that to. On our YouTube channel at the Digital Perspectives. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. If you're still watching this, I'm really thankful, because obviously we all are super busy. So I'm very thankful to the things, but I will look forward also to your feedback. If there's anything we can improve, or anything you are struggling right now in your business to build a brand or monetizing it, just let us know. Until then, you take care, and bye for now.